going on, guys? Welcome back to another Game Time Discussions. I'm Emery Cousin. I'm here with Cameron Selby. We will be doing the first NFL football is back. The first.
It's here.
Yeah, absolutely. The first Thursday Night Football game of the year. It's going to be between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I do want to say, I want to put this out there, and I think I missed this a little bit, but last year we had a game that was very close between the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens. If y'all do remember, we did do a really good job on that slate. We took that slate down on week 1, and that was awesome. But now we have a game that's a little bit farther apart. This is a -7.5 game to the Philadelphia Eagles, a very high predicated defense, and they're very one-sided feel versus last year.
Well, and it's also very interesting because obviously since the prices came out a couple weeks back, we did first looks, internally, bounce back and forth. But then there was the Micah news nugget that came last week, being traded to the Green Bay Packers, and just bad vibes have been confirmed, and it's just looking like a rough season for the Dallas Cowboys, whether or not they have health issues. And
Right.
interestingly enough, the line only moved by half a point because it opened at 7.
Mhm.
It did for a little bit go to 6.5, but it's been 6.5 to 7 the whole time. Now it's only 7.5. You'll see on our game scripts when we go through that how we view and anticipate this game to take place. But yeah, it's a fun thing that we're going to be talking about. It was a great weekend opener for college football,
Mhm.
and now we're just kind of right into NFL season. So let's get right into the first slate.
Yeah, we're going to start off with the Dallas Cowboys pass catchers. If you look at the grouping up there, I had to put 6 because we need to talk about all these guys. I think that obviously the guy you want to get to is CeeDee Lamb. If you can get CeeDee Lamb, that's the guy if you want to get to this offense. George Pickens is an interesting story. I don't really know what to do with him yet. I might just say, hey, fade and wait and see. Jake Ferg's a guy that we had in a lot of slates last year because, the Dak likes his tight ends. Jalen Tolbert, Devontae Turpin, Luke Schoonamaker, all tournament plays, but I think they're all interesting guys to talk about.
Yeah, and with CD, he's the cream of the crop this week in terms of receiver. In terms of the entire weekend, he is the highest or tied for the highest over/under prop on PrizePicks at 16.5. And then George Pickens is the true wild card. First game with the new team. He's been making highlight play after highlight play in camp, but it's a whole different story when you're down a couple scores and
Right.
you only have one target through a quarter and a half. How do you respond? We've seen many times in his short career so far of him having viral clips of either standing, dogging on plays, the not going for the fumble and like yelling at the quarterback as it's right behind him. Like those kind of things stick out in my mind. And him being 8,000, that's a weird price, and I really am interested to see what his ownership will be because of that very aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll talk about some of these guys just as in totality. We'll put Jalen Tolbert, Turpin, and Schoonamaker together here. But all of them tournament plays. Devontae Turpin's the main return man. He might not play as much on offense, so you're hoping for a return.
I don't really know what to do with him. I mean, he didn't really have any offensive snaps until CeeDee Lamb went down, and they just needed more juice. And
right.
Had the couple of explosive plays towards the end of the season. Don't really know how that aspect really happens or goes with Jake Ferguson back, Dak back,
Mm-hmm.
George Pickens added to the fold. But interestingly enough, he is higher projected in terms of fantasy points compared to Jalen Tolbert. So maybe they're expecting more offensive snaps and maybe a Marvin Mims-esque role where you're only getting 20% of the snaps, but when you're on the field,
we're throwing you the ball.
Giving you the ball. On top of that, because of the running back room so bad, I could see him lining up in the backfield and
why not?
Being a scat back.
Sure. Yeah. I think Luke Schoonamaker's the one that I'm interested in a weird way because he's the cheapest guy you can get to. There's no $200 guy really. Maybe there's a $400 guy in Hunter Lepke. That's the only guy though that I'm like maybe he'll have a touch.
Yeah.
Everybody else
because
won't
Dallas's
get a touch.
Backfield not only was bad last year, they also couldn't pass block. He was in there a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
So if he's minimum price and he's getting 40% of the snaps as a fullback, like all you need is a target at those prices. And if that's the case this year, awesome. But it's still an unknown because they've added basically a brand new backfield with Jaden Blue, Miles Sanders, and Javonte Williams.
Coaching, well, not new coaching, but new play calling, things like that. But yeah, Schoonamaker's an interesting guy to me. Let's go ahead and clear this out. Let's go talk about the running backs because that's a whole nother question mark. There's 3 guys we're gonna put in here. Jaden Blue with his Q tag, Miles Sanders. I'm not putting anybody else. Is there anybody else on the team right now other than
Phil Maffa?
Well, he's on IR.
Active.
He's on IR. Yeah.
Okay.
So, he's out. So, yeah, these are the 3 guys.
It is Hunter Lepke.
Yeah, that's our fourth guy on there.
No, but yeah, obviously there's two Q tags. Javonte Williams is listed as a starter. Very recently priced for a starting running back on a potent offense. Just can the game stay close? Projections really like him, especially because of the fact that they feel like early on, at least, he'll have the lion's share of the important touches.
Sure.
Jaden Blue, up and down preseason, had a final game where he really kind of showed out a little bit, but then went down with an ankle injury. But still, he's listed as the RB3 behind Miles Sanders. So even if Jaden Blue is healthy and happy, 5,000 is a rich price for being the third string running back, and you really have to kind of back yourself into points.
I feel like people will play him, though. That's the thing. I think people are going to play him, and I'm going to be happy about it because the big thing is how you expect this game to go. You think Philly will be up. They're going to throw the ball. And so which one of these guys is going to be the guy on the field when they're doing that? I think people are going to think it's Jaden Blue. And that's the only reason I think he'll probably have a little bit of ownership, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, but it's really tough. Like I said, just depending on your game script and how you think this game will take place. If you think Dallas keeps it close, then it might be a smash play of Javonte Williams. I'm very interested to see the ownership with him.
Very highly projected.
Yeah, right now I think he's the second highest owned skill player for Dallas right now. So if that's the case, then that's a good leverage spot to get away from.
Absolutely. And so we'll clear this out. I'm gonna pull Dak up here just because we haven't talked about him yet. Dak loves playing better in games he is down. So that's maybe you go with that rhetoric and you follow that because this is a game that we and most people will expect them to be down in. So $9,000 is cheaper than the other groupings, like other guys in this group. So I think that's a reasonable idea to go with.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with him is that he has no rushing upside anymore. He's no longer that guy.
Right.
He's not doing the QB sneaks for touchdowns, or it doesn't feel like he's a threat with that since he's done the broken leg. He's really reduced his rushing upside, and then now his significant hamstring injury. He's obviously healthy now, but obviously he's past 30, and you don't know how that'll really affect his legs going forward. But 9,000 is a very reasonable price tag for a quarterback of his caliber. It makes things easier because it's hard to spend up. I don't even know if it's even possible to go Barkley, Hurts, and Lamb and then figure out the rest. So doing two of those three and then Dak is your third expensive guy, I think that's going to be a lot of common builds.
Yeah.
And so, it just kind of teaches their own. If you think Dak can score 2 touchdowns, then go for it. But he is, plus money to throw for 2 touchdowns. So if he only throws for 1, he doesn't have rushing upside, it could be a trap.
Yeah, 9,000 for sure. And that was what I was actually going to say was like, if you expect people to go with those builds where you're getting, I know Saquon's going to be in everybody's line. Sure, 95%, right? And then Jalen Hurts probably. So if you go Dak, which is what most people will do, how are you going to be different? And so we'll talk about some ways to get different for sure. Let's go over to the Philly side. I think Philly is obviously a fascinating team. They're a fascinating team on every single slate because they're so highly priced. AJ Brown, 9,400. Devontae Smith, 8,400. I'm not even talking about these top 2 guys yet. Goddard, 6,400. Those are their top 3 pass catchers. And then really, it gets really tough because you got John Mechie who just got there, and he's already more expensive than Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what do I do? And then do you want to go down here to Grant Calcaterra and get a backup tight end? Maybe he catches the ball one time, but you could say the same thing for Hunter Lipsy. Yeah, no, exactly. They're like, I don't know what to do with this team because they're just so expensive.
Yeah, and obviously they're one of those teams where they didn't put, other than Saquon having his 2,000-yard season, flirting with breaking the all-time rushing record, basically it was kind of spread out, but they also played from ahead a ton. So it was like if AJ Brown had to hit, he had to catch all 7 of his targets. Devontae Smith, kind of a similar thing. Dallas Goedert would go for 8 targets and then he'd go for 2 targets. So, and on top of that, he was banged up last year. So it's really hard to I feel like you're doing dart throws on which pass catcher to go with. It's really easy to, inherit some of these guys, especially because Dallas secondary dealing with a lot of injuries. And yeah, it looks like Trayvon Diggs is back and could be active, and Deron Bland finally is healthy and extended now. But at the same time, I just think that if Philly's putting up points, some of these guys are really going to take off.
Absolutely. Let me clear this group out, and we'll talk about the 2 running backs. You have Saquon Barkley, and you have Jalen Hurts.
Well, I mean, I did want to point out Will Shipley.
Yeah,
just because of the fact that I don't think that this is going to be a 90%, Saquon. Yeah, he's going to get almost all the important touches, and if not, Jalen Hurts will as well.
Yeah.
But if it is a blowout script that you're predicting, Will Shipley being the RB2, being a whole $1,000 cheaper than AJ Dillon is very reasonable and interesting. Obviously, he's the one that's sticking out in terms of ownership. Everybody else under 10%, below 4,000, and he's far and away the highest and most popular owned. But he makes a lot of things work too. So very interesting name to keep an eye on. I don't know how fantasy relevant he'll be in a close game environment.
Right.
But
yeah.
He has a path. And I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. The other two, obviously Saquon Barkley, Cam kind of alluded to the fact that he killed it last year. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see how it all shakes out with ownership, because obviously I think you have 100% Saquon, but do you have him at captain? Do you have him at the, flex spot? How are you doing that with Jalen the same way? Are you putting him at captain? Are you putting him at flex? How are you making these two guys fit into your lineup and still have enough money to fit everybody else?
Yeah, these are going to be the two highest owned guys on the field. They're going to be the two highest owned captains. So really the main way to get different is leaving money on the table if you're going that high up. Because it does make a ton of sense. Does make it work. They're identical projections at 23 points. The next highest guy is 18, and then a big dip down to 15. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I don't have to try to explain the reasons and advanced metrics of why you should play Hurts and Barkley. You should.
Right.
I want to be overweight to both, but at the same time, it's really hard. And on top of that, I was looking at last year's box scores. I was like, was there a commonality on how they kicked Dallas's ass? And really, it was just one was an elite pass game, and then one was an elite run game.
Right.
So one, Barkley went off for 30. The other, he went for like 12. Hurts went for like 30, and then he went for like 14.
Right.
So it wasn't like a commonality of both. Like this guy was the guy to play against Dallas. So again, I like to play both. Can you fit both? And if you do, you're sacrificing probably CeeDee Lamb. And are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, and also I did want to point this out. When Jalen Hurts was good against Dallas last year, one of the receivers obviously was good. Which one? It was Devontae Smith. It wasn't AJ Brown. So I think that $1,000 is a little bit interesting. I'm gonna stop the share. We're gonna do it a little bit different this year. I know normally we talk through it with this up, but I want to go over our game scripts and all of our tournament plays and picks and stuff like that right now. So I'm gonna let you go first on your game script. We're very close though.
Yeah, and I kind of said this before the Micah news came out. Dallas, all these vibes are bad. It's new staff,
right?
Injuries, all this happening on the road against a much more talented team. They are not better or almost really close anywhere on any position group on the field. And so I just don't think it'll be close and it will remain the same last year. I picked them Philly to win 34-13. That opens the door for both kickers, maybe a defense. But I just don't see a scenario where Dallas keeps this game close. And the only way that Dallas kind of breaks this slate or really kind of messes up my prediction is if it's something similar to where Kansas City did to Philly, where they were down 28, but 2 go balls to Xavier Worthy made him the optimal captain, despite them losing by 25. It's a very rare thing that those happen. But if CeeDee Lamb is, I remember, I forgot the opponent, but I remember a game where he was absolutely just great fade, and then he had 2 garbage time touchdowns, and then it was like, well, he was the optimal captain, and it went from like 7xing to not even cashing, despite them being blown out. So that is the key to me. And if Philly kind of keeps their feet on their necks, I just think it's going to be a very one-sided affair.
Yeah, I think that this is a perfect game for a garbage time touchdown. I agree with that. And I have Philly 31-14 beating Dallas. I think we're very close on that. I think that since Dak does play well when he's behind, and I'm going to take a different approach than Cam because he did talk about, yes, Philly is better everywhere. That's not a question. But Dallas, when they do, take that approach, you're going to get maybe some CD late touchdowns, like you said, 2 garbage time touchdowns like that. That's why I think CD is a play that I'm going to get to. You might go with Aubrey if you think that like you're in your situation, you had two field goals. So I don't think that that's a problem at all either. And I'm going 100% defense. I don't think I can play a line without the Philly defense either at captain. And that's going to be really fun because that's a little bit because you have Saquon and Jalen on this slate. you won't see as much Philly defense in captain spots, but my first look will have a nice Philly defense in the captain spot because that is probably the most the highest pick for dollar to point value you're gonna get by far, in my opinion. Tell me about your must play.
I mean, we don't have to spend too much time on it.
Let's hear it.
Mine's Jalen Hurts, just because I just see a scenario where he has the 20-point floor, and if he goes for 20 and everybody else stays down, I think it'll be just enough. That doesn't mean you got to play him at captain, but I just think he needs to be in the build.
Sure. And I'm going Saquon because of similar reasons. I think that there's just such a great floor for a guy like this. And then also, and of course, we're talking about the top two guys, but there's a reason they're 95% owned because they are safe plays. I thought Saquon was going to be way more expensive than 11.2. I was pretty surprised and excited about that, actually, because I didn't think it would be $200 from Jalen Hurts. It makes you have to decide in some builds, though, which is interesting.
Right.
Who's your fade?
My fade is George Pickens. I just am not willing to invest in the wild card aspect of it. The fun thing is normally we play 3 lines when we do these kinds of slates, and being 33%, I still think you can be overweight if you're just playing 1 out of 3 lines with George Pickens. But it's just a very awkward price tag, and if he's just right next to Devontae Smith, I'd rather go with him being the upside. You mentioned one of the Hurts blowout games and how that transpired. It was Devontae Smith being the main beneficiary. On top of that, he was a big standout in camp, so it sounds like he's taking another leap. A.J. Brown was missing most of camp with a hamstring injury. He will play, but who knows? Maybe he only plays 60% of the snaps.
Right.
Devontae gets a couple extra targets for that very reason.
Absolutely. And then my fade is going to be Javonte Williams, and that's because I expect the game script to go the way it does. I don't think he's going to be running the ball. I think what did we say? How many rushing attempts do you think he will get in the game? Honestly, like if you had to just 12, 10,
I would say 8 to 10 is probably
like, okay. So I'm even high and I'm fading the guy, right? So that's my thing with him is just like, I don't think the touches are there. He was inefficient last year. I really liked the guy when he came out. Unfortunately, the ACL really tore him apart. So I think I'm going to fade him because there's also other running backs in this offense that they're going to want to get on the field. I just think he is going to be overly owned for his overall like production, in my opinion, or touches in general.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then in terms of tournament plays, you kind of alluded a little bit to mine. Philly defense special teams. That is my tournament play. It's one of my favorite. It is my favorite play on the slate.
Yeah.
And I still think that somehow the ownership might be under 30% for them. But the reason that they're in my tournament play pool, because they might be my favorite captain. I might be playing 2 lines with them at captain. That's how good I feel about it. I feel like it's $1,000 misprice based on what we've seen transpire. They create turnovers. They create sacks. Dallas's line is banged up. And I just see a path where they're just going to absolutely smash.
Yeah, 4,600. I'm going to have 100% of Philly's defense. That's not even in question to me. I'm already ready to lock in on that. A different kind of in my contrarian play. Of course, if we could both pick Philly's defense, I think we would. But if I had to pick someone else, it's Luke Schoonamaker because he was a 2nd round draft pick that they took a chance on, even though we didn't like the pick and necessarily, but he was a 2nd round draft pick that has the opportunity and ability to be better than Jake Ferguson, in my opinion, talent-wise. They're probably pretty close talent-wise. So if you get on the field, if he gets more snaps, 1,600 just feels like an early year price to me. And I think he'll probably increase to 2,800 or something like that.
Yeah, be like a Noah Gray-esque.
Yeah, exactly.
He's always just a threat.
So if he gets 2 catches, shoot. I'm happy.
I totally get it. I mean, the rookie year for him, he was basically banged up the entire season. And Jake Ferguson, that was his true breakout. Last year, Jake Ferguson got banged up. I think it was week 2, and he missed a few games and was also banged up. And Luke Schoonamaker came in, and he was a tight end that when he was less than $3,000, we clicked his name, and he inherited the 6 to 8 targets, and he was a smashed one time and just like, hey, I'll take 10 points for $2,900 on a main slate on the other. So there's a path there. Blowout, maybe he even gets more snaps. I don't mind that at all, and he makes things work.
Absolutely. And I don't know that they trust all their wide receivers, so they could play a lot of 22 personnel. And it's possible that he's in the game more than we're giving him credit for it based on the price. Okay, let's go build some lines. Let's go back up there. I'm gonna let. I mean, I can go first. It doesn't
Okay.
matter either way. I'll start. My captain, I already kind of alluded to it, is going to be the Eagles, $6,900, and then that allows you to kind of build how you want. Right now, I just have the Eagles checked, so let's add Dallas. There we go. Because I have to pick one of them.
Right.
Maybe I don't want to, but I have to. We're gonna go Saquon and Jalen and CD. I'm gonna put the top 3 in. Okay. I'm gonna go grab my contrarian play and Luke Schoonamaker. That leaves me $8,500, and we talked about it. Devontae Smith at $8,400 fits in perfectly. I really like it, and that's why I thought finding a tournament play like Luke Schoonamaker at the low end, because I wanted to do. I was like, was there $200 guys or a $400 guy? But then I was like, well, if I put a $400 guy in there, say Luke Lepke, and then I'm like, oh well, let's go to Dak. I'm like, well, what's the point of having Eagles defense as my cap? So that was one of the things. So I was like, okay, let's go Devontae Smith and get that correlation with Jalen Hurts, and then go from there.
No, yeah, that's fun line. I'm surprised that you were able to make all 3 work and still get Devontae Smith in there. You don't even have to clear it all. You can keep that top 3 with my first look. Essentially, I had something of a similar build, but went a different route, not going all the way up to CeeDee Lamb. So I put AJ Brown in there. Don't love it, but he just kind of naturally made it work. And then I have Brandon Aubrey as a kicker. Hopefully he gets all those points early so that I don't have to worry about them going for a 4th down later. And then you inherit Dallas Goedert, who right now he's kind of, if you force me to do a tournament play of skill player, not defense, that would have been the guy. He's the only guy priced between $5,400 and $8,000, and he is the lowest owned player of anybody above $5,000. So perfect to me, contrarian play, and very easy to get overweight to just playing in one line. And honestly, if you wanted to just do the route of go from AJ Brown down to Devontae, and you just don't think he'll be right,
leave the money
at $1,300, I think that is the same type of line, and nobody will have it. And that's a great way to just be unique, having a $1,300 play, and then a low owned captain, and then a bunch of guys under 25% owned.
I might like Devontae Smith more this week.
No, I totally
general.
agree.
So
just my first look, it just kind of naturally fit in as a 5.
Money wise, absolutely. No, I get it completely. And Goddard's an interesting play on this slate. Like we said, we just think that Philly's going to win. So you're going 5-1 here, and the kicker being your 1 is something I don't think we've done before. Which is, I mean, we are really pessimistic if this is the line, but it makes a lot of sense in my opinion. I think that getting Eagles defense up there, going with the top 2 guys, Saquon and Jalen, and then just kind of building out from there is what we're going to be doing. I think we're going to have a lot of lines that look very similar to just like starting with these 3 and then going like, okay, now how do we want to mix and match the rest of the field? So I think, and I wanted to get to both kickers possibly. So I want to put those 2 in there and see what's left over. Just real quick.
Yeah, because they're 4,400, 4,800.
What do I got? 11. So I could go all the way to CD.
Leave the money.
Yeah, and then you get
nobody's playing double kicker plus a defensive captain.
Yeah, but I don't think it's it's not improbable. Insane. Yeah, because like you get the top 3 guys, CD, Jalen, Saquon, and then you're just gonna say, okay, well now I'm just gonna add 2 more guys. You could go a lot of different ways. I think that though,
and even if you're not comfortable with that, you take out 1 kicker, you can implement naturally a Jake Ferguson in.
Yeah.
And if it's Brandon Aubrey that you're fading, then that's enough for Javonte Williams if he's your cup of tea this week. That one will at the very least project well.
And I think if you're like, hey, I'm on the Eagles at captain thing, just put Jake Elliott in there, and then you have 2 pass catchers for Dallas. They don't have to score touchdowns necessarily. Maybe one of them falls in the end zone. In my case, maybe both of them fall in the end zone. But you're not going to need Dak, and you can still make it work really well. So I think this is a fun line.
Do you have a look in front of you of a dominant captain?
No, let's go do it though.
Let's go Bill on
Which one would you like?
Well,
because they're about the same price, so it's
let's go with Saquon as a tiebreaker. RotoWire has him at 0.07 higher.
He's my guy too, right?
So yeah, go ahead. But you're gonna put in Hurts in this line.
Yeah, of course. So we got these 2 guys in there. You have 5,500 left. Let's go grab my tournament play, so we can get some breathing room, and your tournament play, because they have to be in our line.
Yeah, they're going to
$8,000. I mean, it feels pretty good.
It's kind of tough because then you'll have to go up to probably an AJ or a Dak, and then that allows you to still afford.
Yeah, so if
Dallas
I put
Goedert.
AJ in, I get Dallas here.
Mhm.
What if I don't put AJ in? What if we try CD and I go down
Ooh.
to Jake Ferg? Is that at price?
That's
Or
not
just
crazy.
go
Or
down
kicker.
You
Yeah.
go all the
And
way down to Jake
another
Elliott?
fun route I did mention earlier, Will Shipley going Saquon at captain and then also playing his backup running back, I think is a fun and interesting way, because if Saquon is going to be captain, most people are going to think that he's getting all the important touches out of that backfield.
Right.
So maybe they both score a touchdown and it ends up working out. That's another fun way to think about it.
So you could play this. Going with Saquon allows you to play all of the lines we just showed you with Jalen Hurts also, because he's $300 cheaper, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get a $100 saving basically on it. So yeah, if you want to go Will Shipley, $2,000. There you go.
And then let's make one more line going against our game script.
Cool.
Dallas plays from behind but salvages. Dak goes for 300 yards. How are we fitting Dak and making it more of a 3-3 build?
Let's see. So do you still have to have these two guys, basically, is the question?
No, you can fade one in this line.
So I'm going to fade Jalen.
Okay.
Because I think that's the easier side of it.
Fine.
Let's say, who do you want at cap is the real question.
Let's say CD.
Okay, CD at cap, Dak on the team for sure. Yep. Let's go with one of the pass catchers, Devontae Smith.
Okay.
I think. And what? You got 5,200? You could even go up and get kickers, and let's see, like go up to AJ. Get one kicker.
Oh no, you can't.
Oh wait. Oh, I have 4,200 total.
Yeah,
oh, not per. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so this might have to be a more balanced build where you go with a
like a Goddard, or you could go double receiver and put Dak at cap. Go both. Let's try that. I haven't done this yet, so this is a fun way to do it. That go here, or do you want to go to Jake Ferg? Because I'm fading him, but
let's say Jake Ferg.
Jake Ferg just makes everything fit better, I think. 9,300. Okay, so you could go.
That's double kicker right there, if you want.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Or it could be.
Now, if we didn't want to go double kicker, say we wanted to pay up to like Goddard, can we make it work?
It leaves about 29.
Yeah,
so leave some salary on.
Cavante, Turpin.
Like I said, Cavante is projected for 5 fantasy points, and I don't know what I'm missing, but they really like him right now.
It's really hard to get a 3-3 when you take the Dallas side because of the prices on the Philly side, you know?
Yeah.
So if you want Saquon and you want, say, Devontae Smith, is there a guy? I mean, you could always go like there, even here. What do you got? 36? So that's not even pretty still. Like, yeah, I guess it's Jalen Tolbert, but it's not pretty. It's really hard to get a 3-3 build.
I think another unique thought of looking at it is saying, hey, Philly, they got their defensive touchdown. Like, they locked themselves into being a floor captain.
Sure.
And then still getting 3 Cowboys as, like, it's a unique way of thinking about it, because if people are going Philly captain, they're not going to just also jam in a bunch of Cowboys skill players as well.
I mean,
yeah, because I mean, if you wanted to go George, you can, and then you still have enough for, well,
nope, it kind of kills it. That's what I'm saying. We need to try to figure out how to stay in that range, basically. I think
then you would just go down to get maybe double tight end.
Sure,
you could maybe leave salary on the table, like we said. I think it's really easy to leave salary on the table this week. So that's and I love captain sites that do that.
But I just don't know how Devontae pans out.
No, I know.
Is the problem.
It's a wild card. But the thing is, sometimes you got to play uncomfortable plays. Like our best overall return last year on a showdown was a line where we just weren't confident at all.
Oh, yeah.
And it just happened to be like
New England.
The 98% owned guy fumbled, and the coach didn't want to put him back in the game. So it's just one of those things.
I don't want to be uncomfortable and have a guy that's highly rostered is my problem. So Javonte's getting really high roster ownership.
Yeah.
And he's going against the first
Basically,
defense.
I would anticipate, especially if Jaden Blue is officially ruled out, I would anticipate him being about 30 to 33%. So you basically, to get over the field, have to play him in 2 out of 3 if you're only doing a 3 max, and that's really, really tough to get behind.
I'm more just gonna fade, I think.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
I don't like being at the field of just unknowns.
Right, exactly. And so that's kind of my thoughts too. Let me you have a first half line. So we're going to go ahead and grab. I'm going to swap the share. We're going to share this tab instead. We're going to talk about our
props of the night.
Props of the night, yeah.
So last year we did a really good job, but we didn't keep a record track in total of how we did on our picks of the day, of the night, of the week. So we're going to try to bat over, let's say, what is a good ratio?
I mean, you have to get to 60% probably for these to,
which I would even say 70% is very realistic for us to get to.
Yeah, we were really good last year. It's not
the problem is with this specific slate is that props have been out for weeks. So this specific game, nothing looks good. That's why I went to first half, because those just came out. Especially if we're looking at a blowout. I think it's more reasonable to look at if you're thinking about those things, but I'll let you go first since you're on the main slate.
Yeah, so George Pickens is my pick. We're going to take the under. He is now dealing with... Oh, can I get out?
You see that X?
I don't. Oh, there's a ring light. Sorry,
there's a ring light.
But yeah, so we're going to go less on George Pickens at 11.5. I just don't think he scores, and it's going to be really hard for me to get behind a guy that's at 11.5. I don't know that he goes for... I mean, he's going to have a target share, but it's more so he's not necessarily a high reception, high target guy. And you need those PPR points to get over points like this. If you look to his left, you have CeeDee Lamb at 16.5 here. So I think I'd rather just say CeeDee's going to be good. George is going to have some growing pains. Other guys on the same team, 8.5 for Jake Ferg, So I feel better about taking the under.
And there's always a culture shock first game. I remember Cam Akers being a 4th round pick and not getting he was 2 touches for 3 yards in the game. Last year, Mark Andrews had 0 catches and Isaiah Likely had over 100 yards out of nowhere. And so there's always a culture shock or out of nowhere, wow, the whole community just played themselves on it. And this is a category of a guy that's been juiced up to being a 4th, 5th round pick that I see the path in which you're talking about. But I just don't think that's what's actually my expectation of how I see the Dallas's offense working out this year. So I'm fine with that.
I want everybody to remember this number real quick. Okay.
20.5.
20.5. Let me
it's
go
honestly
find
pretty surprising that
first half.
We'll get into the first half. Yeah, it's right.
I see it.
Yeah. So my prop of the week, Jalen Hurts, 9.5 fantasy points, going the over on it. I'm honestly pretty shocked based on the fact that it's considered 7.5 point total. That's a big spread for a NFL game, especially a rivalry game. The fact that it's less than half of his overall, which was 20.5, is surprising because you would think in a blowout he would do most of his damage early on.
Right.
But literally, as long as he's involved on a touchdown, whether it's passing or rushing, in the first half, he's hitting this prop.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
really easy to get there with 4. If he scores a touchdown rushing, then he just needs 3.5 fantasy points. That's less than 100 total yards. If it's a passing touchdown, he needs 125 passing yards by itself, which is very doable. Or just get 30 rushing yards, and then you only need 60, 70 passing yards. It's really easy to paint a picture of that one to go. And so, like I said, it's tough because of this week. Everything's kind of juiced to where it was. CD started out as 63 yards. Now he's at 74 or whatever he is. So people have been manipulating these props all the last couple of weeks. And since this first half came out, that's the one that stood out to me.
Yeah, and as you can tell, we had a 20.5 full game line. So this is actually saving you some points, which is nice, especially when you think he hit 3 in a row and he's gone for 14, 15, 16 in those games. But before we move on, there is a DAC free square on Prize Picks. So if you have not played, you have up to $25 to play on that free square, and then there's a Saquon free square on Underdog. So make sure you get both of those. Currently, it says I have $0. That's because all my money is on.
We've put in our lines basically this week
already in. Yeah. So, but yes, both of these lines are really good. Pair them with that DAC free square. and make some money on week 1.
And on top of that, they have profit boosts coming out left and
yeah,
right.
I have a
on
25%
Underdog.
right here.
I got a 40% on.
Yeah, right there.
And I had a 40% yesterday. Used that on NASCAR line. Did not work out, but they're just giving you money. NFL's back. They're trying to get you to play and just take advantage if you are very confident in the lines that you come across.
Absolutely. But let me stop the share. That is the Thursday night football game.
Oh, I feel great.
I know we're going to hit that Friday night football game. You're going to have that on Thursday, and then the main slate will come out Friday. You'll have all of the stuff. We're going to hit Sunday morning. We're going to do our live stream that we do every year. We haven't gotten to that, of course, but we'll be talking about all the slates that normal people don't necessarily play, which gives us a little bit of an edge, which is fun because we're going to talk about the early morning slate, the afternoon slate, the primetime slates, things like that most people don't get a chance to talk about on the YouTube space. So you'll get our information and what we think about those games also, which is really cool.
Yeah, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm fired up to continue starting to do the real news. We've been kind of best balled out because that's what the majority of the NFL content has been throughout the summer. But now this is live weekly stuff to where it doesn't matter what happened last week. It's what happens this week that matters. So I'm excited for it. But we're ramping more and more up in the Discord about the stuff and the props we put out. Shout out to Gary, a friend of the show. He's been killing it with some of the college football ones that has been standing out to him. And our first community play of the year hit once again for the second straight year.
Yep.
So exciting stuff. If you ever last minute have fantasy draft questions or want us to critique your team,
just
let us know on any kind of platform. We have all kinds of social media, and just continue kind of interacting with us.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of how I've done so far in college football. 2 for 2 for prop of the week. Haynes King over 43.5 rushing yards. He had 140 or something crazy. So we're doing a lot of good things over there. So if you haven't come and hung out with us over there, please do. Cam has his favorite prop picks, and I'll have my favorite prop pick for the week. We already know Chase Brown over I don't even know what it is right now, 18.5 yards?
I think it's up to 20.5, and I'm still fine with it.
Sure.
But again, because it's hard week 1 because they put them out 3 weeks before the season starts, and
we're almost late at this point.
I'm like 20 lines deep on both platforms, and most of the numbers that I like have moved up exponentially to where I'm just looking for other numbers at this point.
Sure. So. But we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, and we will see y'all on the next one.